And I hope Russia will stay hard to the task.
The summit will also serve as a backdrop for an emergency meeting of the Group of 7 industrialized nations. U.S. President Barack Obama has brought his hard line on Russia to Europe, and a U.S. congressional delegation wants further targeted sanctions against Russia.
Vladimir Putin doesn't want to act like a responsible world leader. Instead, he still wants to act like a schoolyard bully.
And I think one of the things President Putin is going to regret the most is that by his actions, he has stirred up an entire continent.
But Obama faces a test on whether he can bring along European allies to increase the pressure on Russia. With far closer economic ties to Russia and their still fragile economies, European allies could face a backlash by getting tough with Moscow. President Xi Jinping has brought a proposal to the summit that he hopes will find some common ground on the issue. Xi will also sit down separately with Obama in their first face-to-face meeting since a G20 summit in Russia. James Aiken, TVB News.
And still ahead in our newscast, anti-government protesters in Thailand take to the streets again. A probe into the Marine Department over the Lama Ferry disaster nears completion, and a call for greater cuts in Form 1 places in each class of students.
This may be the nuttiest thing I've ever seen.
Winter is the supermarket's most important season. How do supermarkets make sure there's enough wine and bubbly on their shelves for the holiday season?
That's like a great big paddling pool.
Tonight, Supermarket Secrets at 9:35 on Pearl. The chicks will soon be forced into adulthood, and they still need to do many things for the first time. Fit in with the group, walk on ice, defend themselves, dress snappily, and swim. Tuesday, Penguins, Spy in the Huddle, the last episode, at 9:30 on Pearl Spectacular.
To prevent avian flu, you should wash hands frequently, maintain a clean environment, and ensure good ventilation. Cover mouth and nose with tissue paper when coughing or sneezing, and dispose of soiled tissue paper properly in a lidded rubbish bin. Then, wash hands immediately. People with flu symptoms, caregivers of patients, and visitors of hospitals or clinics should wear a mask. And avoid crowded places.
Take action now!
It's time again to rock and roll. Catch the highlights from the first day of action this Friday night after the news roundup. Then, go on the Rugby Rampage live Saturday morning at 8:55 on Pearl, the official host broadcaster of the Hong Kong Sevens.
Welcome back. Thousands of anti-government protesters took to the streets of Bangkok again today to promote this weekend's mass rally. Protest leader Suthep Thaugsuban vowed to lead a march every day this week. He urged supporters to push for political reforms before a new election takes place.
The Hong Kong government says an internal probe into the Marine Department, which was launched after the Lama Ferry disaster, should be finished by the end of the month. But lawmakers are unhappy the government is unwilling to disclose the entire report, insisting the victims' families deserve to know the whole truth. Ronnie Samtani reports.
Secretary for Transport and Housing Anthony Cheung says the government has been conducting an in-depth investigation into the internal operations and officers at the Marine Department.
And frontline officers basically include all the concerned officers who had handled the Lama Fall, including serving as well as retired officers in both directorate and non-directorate ranks, joining the grade since the 1990s.
He stressed that criminal matters found during the investigation will immediately be referred to the authorities. But because of possible criminal proceedings and privacy issues, Cheung said the full report may not be disclosed. Lawmaker James To, who has been assisting victims' families, accused the government of making excuses.
It's a very bad impression that the Secretary is trying to use all the excuse to avoid disclosing the full internal investigation report. I think the worst excuse is for the avoidance of conflict with the possible disciplinary proceedings. Well, the victim's family deserve to see the truth, the full report, all the facts, and who has done certain wrongdoing.
Others express concern on how the government will handle the issue of prosecuting retired officers.
I want to ask, in relation to the former director, if he's found to be liable in some aspects, then would he be able to sort of shun his liability, be it partially, and avoid penalty because he has retired?
Jung said that the government will use established procedures for handling disciplinary action. Marine Department Director Michael Wong added that the department has been making improvements and it will follow up on recommendations made in the report. The internal investigation report is expected to be completed by the end of the month. To said he will keep pushing for the full report to be released. Ronnie Samtani, TVB News.
Secondary school principals have urged the government to implement measures to tackle the decreasing number of students. They warn the quality of education could be compromised if their suggestion of reducing Form 1 school places is not adopted. Evelina Lung reports.
A drastic drop in Form 1 students in secondary schools from around 90,000 in 2005 to the projected 49,000 in the next school year. The number is expected to go further down in the next few years. To prevent problems from occurring with the decrease, the Education Bureau implemented its 211 student number reduction scheme last year. This scheme will reduce the number of Form 1 places in phases over 3 years. This year, secondary schools can voluntarily reduce 1 place in each Form 1 class. However, the Joint Committee of the Secondary School Councils and the Secondary School Heads Association of 18 districts said this is not enough, and there will still be extra places left over in the end. The committee has asked the Education Bureau to implement another reduction scheme on top of the current one. It says the second scheme should focus on areas where there's a lack of students, such as eastern and southern districts, and Wantaisin in the urban area, as well as Shatin, Taipo, Saikong, and Tuen Mun in the new territories. The Education Bureau should ask these schools to reduce an extra 1 to 3 Form 1 places per class. The committee estimates this will altogether reduce 900 places. The Joint Committee members said they've been voicing the concerns to the Education Bureau since July last year. However, the Education Bureau says their suggestion is unnecessary. The committee disagrees.
We do need a more stable environment in order to enhance the quality of education. And we are always afraid that when the population returns to normal, we won't have enough sufficient experienced teacher to serve our next generation.
The Joint Committee said they will continue dialogue with the Education Bureau to convince the government that their suggestion is needed to help solve the problem. Evelina Lang, TVB News.
All right, Chris, what do you have for us in sports today?
I have not much, but I think it's interesting.
Okay.
Anyway, a terrific goal fest for fans last night as Barcelona turned up the heat on Real Madrid in Spain's First Division. And as Tony Saban reports, a hat trick from Lionel Messi was the decisive factor.
They don't call it El Clasico for nothing. Barcelona had to win this one against the old enemy to keep alive their hopes of winning the league. And they made a great start in the 7th minute when a superb through ball found Andre Iniesta, who made it 1-0. But Real Madrid were quickly back in the game. Some inept goalkeeping and lax defending allowed Karim Benzema to sneak in and score 2 goals in the space of 4 minutes. Then a bit of Messi magic to put Barca level with Madrid right before the break. It wouldn't be an El Clasico without C. Ronaldo's contribution. Sure enough, he took advantage of a generous penalty from the ref to put his team in front once more from the spot. But like so many other times in the past, whatever Ronaldo does, Messi aims to do it even better. Neymar played up his tumble in the box, and the Argentine made it 3-3 from the spot in the 65th. Yet another penalty was awarded to Barca at the Bernabeu, much to the fury of the Madrid faithful. The hostility of the crowd didn't faze Messi, who sealed a decisive 4-3 win over their arch-rivals. Tony Sabine, TVB News.
And that's our show.
Good night.
for 6 consecutive Thursdays. The exciting sport of yachting as you've never seen it before. Rolex presents the spirit of yachting, guiding lights, experience and youth, fight to the finish, a class act, the elements, and the rivals. Starting this Thursday night at 8.
Wait! Hey! What? Huh? How can things be kept orderly when it's so crowded? Everybody knows that when you've got a lot of brothers and sisters, confusion is part of the game. Tuesday, Too Cute, at 8:35 on Pearl.
I'm carrying a camera. I don't see a camera.
How con artists take your money when you vacation in Rome.
I get scammed. And amazingly, I have a ticket to meet the Pope. So you don't have to.
Starting Wednesday, Scam City at 9:30 on Pearl. Sun Life Financial presents The Weather Report is brought to you by Sun Life Financial.
Good evening. We had mainly fine weather today. At 5 p.m., a northeast monsoon affecting the coastal areas of Guangdong was moderating gradually. And up until 5 p.m., the temperatures ranged from 16.6 to 23.1 degrees, and the current temperature is now standing at 21 degrees Celsius. So, Freddie, how's the weather tomorrow?
Oh. Ah.
Sunny periods tomorrow. Temperatures will range from 17 to 24 degrees. It'll be humid and foggy in the following few days. Tomorrow morning's air quality health index will range from low to moderate, and the maximum UV index forecast for tomorrow will be about 8. And now to the latest global weather update. Rain in Shanghai, cloudy in Xiamen. Cloudy in Guangzhou and Chengdu, bright in Macau. Bright in Beijing and Tokyo. Bright in Bangkok, thunderstorms in Manila. Showers in Kuala Lumpur, Singapore, and Jakarta. Bright in New Delhi and Karachi, sunny in Mumbai. Sunny in Cairo, showers in Nairobi. Thunderstorms in Brisbane and Sydney, bright in Melbourne and Auckland. Bright in Toronto, cloudy in New York. Cloudy in Vancouver, sunny in Los Angeles. Showers in London, rain in Paris, cloudy in Frankfurt, sunny in Zurich. And that's the weather. Good night.
It was brought to you by Sun Life Financial. Life's brighter under the sun.
You guys tracked me down so that I could find my dad and safeguard our future.
Maybe it's better to just leave it alone.
Steven, he's dead.
Well, come on, he ought to know how his father died.
I saw him. My dad's between life and death.
Save all of them.
You have to try to kill me. I'm here to say goodbye. This is about all of us. Limbo is real. So either you believe that I'm the chosen one, or you don't.
The Tomorrow People, Tuesday night at 10:40 on Pearl.
No. Yeah, no.
No means no.
Yep. Yes? No, I meant yes to your no.
No. Yes.
You have to say yes to everything.
Yes, man.
I do want to take guitar lessons. I do want to learn how to fly. Yes, I would like to learn Korean. I wasn't open to stuff, and now I am. Things are changing for me.
Saturday, Yes Man on Pearl's Weekend Blockbuster.